All right, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome everybody to our ITSAN webinar. Today we are doing something extra special. We are going to be talking about advocacy. So I'm Molly Evans. I am a member of the board on ITSAN, and I have our president here, Kathryn Tullos, who's going to be leading us today. Hi, Kathryn.
Hello, thank you, Molly.
Yes, thank you so much to you for bringing this amazing work to our attention and to our group. I just wanted to kind of start out with a little bit of an introduction here. For our group, I think most of us, maybe or maybe not, have had some kind of interest in advocacy in our lifetime in some way. But once you enter the world of topical steroid withdrawal syndrome, that advocacy spirit seems to grow a little bit because we know intuitively that something needs to change. We don't always know what to do. So the definition of advocate is a person who speaks or writes in support of a cause or person. And we definitely are called to advocacy through our condition. So Kathryn brought to my attention a way that we can all become more empowered. And so today in our webinar, we're going to be discussing the FDA. We've maybe heard of FDA before, but she'll tell us a little bit more about who they are, what they do, what can happen if a large number of advocates and consumers, which we're all just consumers of topical steroids, what can happen, the power that a large group of consumers, advocates can have when we come together around a cause, and how the process works, so what to do. So for me, when Kathryn first brought it to my attention, advocacy, reporting to FDA, it sounds scary, it sounds big, but as warriors in this space, we know how to do big things, we know how to do hard things. So thank you, Kathryn, for leading us through this. As our president and leader, I know that we are all, it's a gift to us to learn how to do more than just support each other in our healing journey. So go ahead and take notes, but remember this will also be posted on our YouTube channel, our ITSAN YouTube channel, and also you are welcome to ask questions. So go ahead and use the question and answer spot to type in some questions along the way, and Kathryn and I will try to make sure and get to those. If not, you can always reach us either through our social media pages or info@itsan.org. And just want to make a reminder that you can always find ITSAN at our website too, which is itsan.org. So let's get started with this worthy, awesome work. All right, Kathryn, go ahead and just tell us, like, how did this idea come to be? And you were so passionate and excited about it, so that got me excited too. But what is this big idea, and why are you so excited about it?
Okay, so I think that we have always tried to encourage members to report their side effects to the FDA, but I think maybe not everybody understands how to do that, maybe not even why that's important. And I know that our previous president, Kelly Barta, really pushed this for us last year. I know she was trying to contact people in the Facebook group to get them to report. So, Food and Drug Administration is like a regulating body in the US, and they have ways for patients to report their experience and for doctors to report. And so today we're going to go over how to report if you're a patient and you've had an adverse event or an adverse effect from your drug. So this is the way for the FDA to become informed about what is going on, like on the ground. What is your experience? I know for me, when I was very in the beginning of all of this with my son, and I was seeing some of these side effects that looked nothing like his eczema that we had started treating with, and I was reporting this to my doctor, and I told her, and I have a background being a nurse. And so if we have any kind of event, we have to report it. And so I was telling her, are you going to report this? And she said, they already know about it. Like, this is a side effect they already know about. So maybe some people in our community might be thinking, they already know about this. They already know their side effects, right? Excuse me. What they don't know is how many people it affects, and I don't think they know how deep the problem is. So this is where we can come in. I have recently spoken with another mom who was heading up reporting on Singular, an asthma and allergy drug. And I think that Molly is probably going to be interviewing her soon. And so everyone's going to get the backstory on that. But she kind of lit a fire under me because of her advocacy and because of getting her group together to report on this drug. They were able to get a black box warning. Now, whether we're able to get black box warnings on topical corticosteroids or not, that would be great. But even if we just get that topical steroid withdrawal syndrome is a possibility, that this is one of the warnings. They have several listed in the insert. Even if it was just that would be huge. So that when you go to your doctor and you're saying this is what's happening, you have a leg to stand on because it's on the label. So this is a big deal to try to change the labeling of the drug, can change how it is used, how it is prescribed, and if it's continued to be prescribed to you once you have these side effects. I also wanted to add the Singular group is 6,000. That's about as much as our one ITSAN Facebook group. And so this isn't millions of people, but they were able to affect this change because they all pulled together and they all reported. It's a little different because our drugs that have adversely affected us are all different manufacturers, all different potencies, all different drugs. So there's a little bit more of a challenge there. But, you know, reporting will get the ball rolling and let your voice be heard. And we thought this is something that you can do now while we're all quarantined. And like Molly keeps bringing up, TSW, you're kind of quarantined anyways. Like this is kind of like our jam, right? Like a lot of us are stuck here anyways. But this is something you can do, even if you're very stuck, even if you're bedridden. This is something you can do to advocate for yourself and the whole community.
Yes, I love that you're going to make it easy for us, because when you first brought it to my attention, I was like, this sounds really big and scary, and I don't know if we're going to be able to get this all together. But I love that you already have talked to somebody who's gotten great results with this process. So, and I am going to be talking to that guest next week. So we're going to hear more from somebody who has specifically done it and achieved great results, which is ITSAN's hope. So the fact that you know that this can work and you're going to make it easy for us is great. So something we can do from bed and be quarantined at the same time is fabulous. I do get that we have the extra struggle of, we don't have a singular product like Singular did, but hopefully to our community, hopefully if we show up in numbers, and you guys, it's the idea, if we're going to do this much suffering and recovery, and we're going to put so much effort into ITSAN's mission, which is more awareness of topical steroid withdrawals, and the growing numbers that are coming into just our social media sites every single day, means this unfortunately isn't at its peak yet. And we probably understand these words because of our quarantine right now, but like TSW, topical steroid withdrawal syndrome, is still peaking. It's still going up. And so the awareness has to be there. And I love that, it's like we just need to keep stepping towards greater awareness and eventually prevention, so that every single person that walks into their dermatologist and is handed a tube of steroids at least has very forthright information to read that little slip of paper in there and make a conscientious decision for themselves on what the worth is and what the value is in their healing process. So if that's what we did, like you said, it's so worth it. So I really hope, it's like I want to do a little raffle challenge. Everybody that gets their reports done gets you can tell I used to be an educator. Everybody gets a gold star who gets their reports submitted within the next month. Okay. But so I am very reassured that you said it's easy. I do have a question, and after we learn the process, maybe about someone like me who hasn't been to the doctor or used steroids in 6.5 years. And so maybe in the process, we'll kind of figure that out. But if we can kind of put that out there too. Like I right away was like, how would I report? I haven't been to a dermatologist for this in 6.5 years, so I don't have any current prescriptions. And then I used them for 35 years. So I wonder how I would figure that out. So, so if you have questions, remember as you're watching this, make sure to add them in too. So, all right. Are you going to share a screen with us or?
I am in just a second. I wanted to just say something up front, some things that you might need. So I'll just show you a few of mine since I don't throw stuff away. Okay. So.
Don't touch it.
Right. So here's some prescriptions.
Okay. Those are PTSD moments. Stop.
Right. And here's even an oral one.
Wow. Right? Yes.
So I kept all of these. I don't know what for. I think for a moment.
For this moment right now.
Right. So if you have kept any of your medications on the crimp, right, it will usually say an expiration date and a lot number. And that's some information that they're wanting when you report. They also want to know the name of the drug. They want to know who manufactured it, right? And so as you can see just here, I have like 5 bottles of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so what I would
You're reminding me, Kathryn, you are just giving me like literal PTSD right now. So the reason I think you have these in your house is because you're a caregiver. So it was your scent. So for me, I remember the day my dad walked in my house and I took a freezer bag and I put everything in there like I was an addict because I was like, I can't have this in my bathroom drawer anymore.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
wow.
If I'm very honest, I was keeping them in case this didn't work, in case I was wrong, because I didn't know that's what he had. And it's like, well, I've tried everything else. If this doesn't work, then I'll go back and I'll do what the doctor said. Yeah. And Protopic costs $1 million. And
yes, it's like throwing away money. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was part of it, if I'm very honest. But but what I was going to say before is what I would ask is that whatever tubes you have on hand, if you still have them, go through and report each one, right? Because they all have different manufacturers. Some are generic. So we're just trying to create like deluge of reports coming in their direction, because there's a lot of things in the works right now. We're trying to get a survey together. We're trying to get a face-to-face meeting with the FDA. And if we come in there with all of this backing us, then they'll see, oh yeah, we see what you're talking about. So like ITSAN President, board members, whoever can go and have all these conversations, but unless our community has joined in to back us up, it's just words. It's just, well, you're an anomaly. That was just your experience. We need to show them that this is a big experience. So another thing you can do, I have this binder still from my days of taking my child to a billion specialists. And I printed out, so like, the printout, I don't know if you can see that comes with the drug. Wow. I kept all those and I brought it with them just to show this is how much was prescribed to him and by whom. So I had that, and you can also get online, which I did because I have Walgreens, I have CVS, I have Kelsey-Seybold Pharmacy. I mean, we were seen by so many specialists and so many people prescribed. So you can just get on the phone, you can get online, and you can see what your prescriptions were, even years back, right? And so that's also an option if you don't happen to have the tube on hand. I know a lot of people don't, and I don't blame you, and you want to just like get rid of that. And and seeing it is like, I get that. Even for me, having this in front of me, I'm like, but it needs to go back in its layer. But those are just some things you want to try to get up front is what you actually used, right?
Okay. So you're saying before we even start to log in and do this process, we want to make sure we have our information with us. So we need, and I'm looking at a couple of our guests here on Facebook and on here, but Gonzalo and Michaela, a huge reason why we need our records in one spot. So I know you guys are listening. And then Nina, As Jen said, I ran around my house and tossed everything like a crazy person. So yes, so did I. And so that's a common idea. So you're saying reach out to our pharmacies.
Yes.
Okay.
And if you don't remember, you can reach out to your doctor. That's another option too. And you can say, when did you call this in? I know, like, for a lot of the writing that I do for the website, and just other advocacy, when I speak different places and meet with people, like I did have to call old doctors and be like, when was my son first diagnosed with eczema? When was his first prescription? And they still had all those records. And this is like 2013. This is 7 years ago. And so they still have all of that. And they can tell me what they prescribed and who they called it into. And so then, so if you're forgetting even that, because like I said, I went to several pharmacies as well. So there's ways to get that information. And that's what they're after. It is a challenge because we've been on these drugs many years, many of us, and many different drugs. But even if you can just report one, even if you can just figure out one, or the most recent one, it's one more report than they had before, right?
Yes.
And if we're
good point. Yes, we just had a comment on Facebook too, any tips for someone who has so much medical history? And I would feel the same way. So you're saying even if we can just get our last prescription and report that one. Okay, got it.
Any of them. It's one more report than they had before, and it will add up to thousands. And if then there's somebody like me who's a crazy person and has it all, I can report all of mine.
Yeah.
Right. But that doesn't mean, I don't want anyone to feel discouraged by this, by like, I've had so many and it was years ago that I quit. It doesn't matter. You can report it anytime.
Okay. Awesome.
And just
I'm going to say that's because you're a nurse, because you're an RN. You saved everything. I never even read those little slips of paper. I was just like, whatever, just get it better, so.
Until my son was affected. I mean, I'm ashamed to say I never read any of it until we were affected. So maybe because I'm a nurse / hoarder. That could be also.
Okay, now you're ready. Now you're ready to go. Okay, so step one, everybody, is get your records, whether it's one prescription from your pharmacy, from your doctor, or you have the tube still in your, you need the, would we be able to get the expiration date and the lot number of something that was a prescription from the pharmacy?
Should be able to. And you can ask about that because I'm assuming that's in their records, but I am assuming. I don't know that for sure.
Okay.
And
we're going to do our best.
Stuff here now, and I can reply in the comments later.
Okay.
About like more specifically how to get that.
Okay.
Another thing to know up front is that I think it's even just on the first page, and we'll go through it and see this. There's a place to enter pertinent labs that were drawn. So some people, like for my son, for instance, I probably won't do it on this one because this is just like a how-to, but he had, like, his IgE level was insane high when he was on steroids and just after getting off. And so I could put that in. It wants to know what lab it was and what date it was drawn. And, so they are trying to gather that type of information. And then there are a lot of open boxes, like for open text. So you can tell your whole story in that, right? Dump it all in there. And that's something that I kind of learned from the singular group, is that they put everything. They put, and this was prescribed to me by an allergist, by a pediatrician, by, whatever, dermatologist, you can say all of that. And you can say, and this is cumulative as well, because, and this is another thing to remember, report any steroid, nasal spray, inhaled, like nebulizers, eye drops, I think you should report any steroid you were on, just so that they know this outcome is a possibility. And then you describe, side effects that you had. Obviously, there's a lot of side effects on the leaflet, so maybe familiarize yourself with side effects they already know. A lot of them are redness and burning and stinging. And so you can reiterate that, like, yes, I'm experiencing a known side effect, but make sure that you also talk about the side effects that are not labeled, right? I'll talk about like all of the symptoms that you had. Again, this is something that we can get together as a group and say, you know, even on the website, you can find there's a checklist of symptoms. Maybe you even forgot about it, depending on where you are in your recovery. It's like, oh yeah, I had that too. I did lose my hair, or I did, you know, shed skin, or I couldn't control my body temperature, or whatever it is. So kind of, these are some things to familiarize yourself with, maybe prior or during. And this, it's not you're not on a time limit either. So it's not like, oh, the test started and I have to do it all right. You can take your time, gather your stuff if you need it, and just as long as you do it. Right?
Yes. And we have to report each drug separately.
Right. But in the open boxes, I think is when you can like say everything.
Okay.
But yeah, I would report if you can, if you have access to that information, report everyone separately. I think at the end of the report, if I remember correctly, it does say it has a place you can add another drug. And so you can add it there. And then maybe in the future, separate webinar would be reporting it to the manufacturer. So this is just reporting it to the FDA.
Okay.
And there's another way to report it to the actual manufacturer. I was told that when you report to the manufacturer, they then send that information to the FDA. And if you've already reported to them, then they consolidate that into one report. But that's okay, because that's in their face 2 times, right? So I think the point, like, that's their problem if that's how they have that set up, that, you know, it's just like, then they're just going to see it twice as much. And so that's advice we were given too, is report it everywhere.
So the big idea is we all have the onus on ourselves to make at least one report. And then, as heavy and hardy as you want to be, as a group, you know, this helps all of the work ITSAN's trying to do. It helps every single one of us that's laying in bed struggling through our withdrawals right now. So this is so important for our group.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm excited. I'm going to do it. Now, I wanted to ask you real too, what about over the counter? Many people started withdrawals just from using hydrocortisone over the counter. Same thing?
Report over the counter. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And so over the counter it's a little harder in that you would have to probably actually have the tube, because you don't have a record of that from your doctor, from the pharmacy. But it's easy enough to get the information over the counter. Yeah. But I think they are also interested, obviously, in that specific lot. Like, say there was something wrong with that, you know, those specific tubes. So it's not, I would not encourage you to just go buy hydrocortisone off the shelf and then report on that randomly. Like, it should be something you actually used.
Okay. Got it. Yep.
To be taken
awesome.
So if we're ready to screen share, I think I am going to report on this mometasone furoate cream. And I'm very blind and can barely see the expiration and lot number, but I'm going to do my best. Should have brought my little reading glasses, but okay, I'm going to screen share my desktop.
And this might be one of the most important things. I know we were talking in a mini board session earlier today, everyone, just about in our Facebook group having this task, this piece of advocacy being posted right in our announcements, because you know, I think we're going to have the step-by-step directions for it, but it may be one of the most important things we can actively do right now and at any time. So we're going to write it up so that we do have the directions on how to do this step by step. But I think what you're going to show us right now is also going to make this seem a lot simpler.
Right. Okay. So the website, even if you just Google MedWatch FDA, this will come up, and you can see, and we can post the links in the comments once we post the video. But this says up here, it says accessdata.fda.gov/scripts/medwatch/index.cfm. So that's a big mouthful, but just Googling MedWatch FDA, you should come to the screen and it looks like this. If you're a health professional reporting an adverse event, that's you. That's not us. This is us, consumer patient. So it's FDA form 3500B. Okay, so you just click on that.
Are you doing an actual report right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
So So it goes to this front page and it says, what kind of problem was it? And so what we're going to check, and you can do what you want. This is just what I'm doing. We're hurt or had a bad side effect, including new or worsening symptoms. So I think that's totally us, right? We had bad side effects and we had new symptoms, as well as the symptoms we were using it for got worse, right? I don't like the second one, saying used product incorrectly, even though it may be kind of true, because we may have been prescribed to use it incorrectly. So that's up to you. Maybe you don't get caught up in the words, but anyway, you do you. If you want to click that too, that's up to you. And I don't think the other ones apply. So then it says, did the following happen? And some of these may have happened to you. Maybe you were hospitalized. I'm going to click required help to prevent permanent harm. You could say disability or health problem. I would say life-threatening. And you could even say other.
Yeah.
And some people, it may be a disability for you. If you were bedbound and you missed work and, you know, all of that, like for my son, it probably was, but he was 4 and he wasn't in school yet. It was really different. So some days he was bouncing off the walls and some days he sat and scratched for hours. So,
well, and where it says health problem, I mean, I feel like I would mark that one just because it caused so many other health problems.
Yes.
You know, whether you got infections or whatever,
right. Yeah.
You know.
So it's not just disability. Yeah, good point. So, Yep, I would click that. So the date the problem occurred is kind of tricky. Because it's like years, like
yes.
What I have done is, it's already remembering me. That's the day we quit steroids.
Okay.
The day before 4th of July.
Okay.
In 2013. And that's me. So however you want to report that, there's no right or wrong. That's just what I do. So this part, I may just truncate because for time, but you know, tell us what happened and how it happened, include as many details as possible. FDA may reach out to you for additional documents if necessary. And you have 4,000 characters to describe this, right? And so I'm just going to write a few, pardon my typos. Flushing, burning, stinging, skin, and could say like hair loss,
oozing,
growth retardation.
Infection. Yeah, growth retardation for kids. Come on, guys.
A new heart murmur.
Oh, wow.
Also had lymph node biopsy. I mean, he had a lot. So I could go on and on here. This is, you get the idea. Like, what happened to you? You couldn't regulate your temperature. Your skin shed constantly. Whatever it is, tell your story, right?
Yeah.
Here's the relevant tests or laboratory data. These are not required. So if it's required, it has like a little red thingy.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And so you can leave this blank if you didn't have tests done. And if you did, then this is another thing where you might need to get records from your doctor. If I wanted to report my IgE, I have my papers here, but I'm going to skip that for now, but just be aware that's there.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So then this next one is for a problem with a product, including prescription or over-the-counter medicine. It kind of lists, that's us. The next one is for medical devices, and that's not us. Like wheelchair or crutches or, you know, stuff like that. Hearing aids and blah, blah. Not us. Do you still have the product in case we need to evaluate it? And it says, don't send it to the FDA, but we'll contact you directly if we need it. And I do, but you say no or yes, no right or wrong. So you have a picture of the product, and I could, but I'm not going to say yes because I'm just educating, right? Oh, no, I didn't mean exit. I meant next.
Oh,
Right.
darn it.
Okay, next. It's live, right?
Yes. Okay. So we can kind of see the bubbles up there to do. And we just had on Facebook, Robbie, one of our members, said that there's also a way to do this in the UK. And so he did post that too.
There is.
Okay.
And we will post all of that. And if you know, like if, Australia or, whatever country you're in, I think before we had a Facebook post about this, it might have been a year ago. We had all those links in there, and we will definitely post all of those up.
Okay, awesome.
Anybody, who should, if your country has an option for this. And if you can educate us about what that is, that'd be great. Okay, so this report is about a drug. And like Molly said, it kind of shows you where you are at the top of this. So
we got one part done already.
Yes.
Okay, it's a drug.
If therapy is ongoing, right? So are you still using this? So I'm not going to check that. And this says the name of the product as it appears on the box, bottle, or package. And it says include as many names as you see. So mine is mometazone, furoate cream. 0.1%. Okay. Name the company that makes or compounds the product. And on here I see G&W. I'm assuming that's Glaxo Welcome, but it doesn't say it. It just says G&W Laboratories Incorporated.
And so you're going to report all of the products that you used with RET.
Right.
Is that the plan? Okay.
That's the plan. And I've done this before. I hope this isn't the one that I already did, but oh well.
Yeah.
Figure that out. Sorry.
Yeah. And we're going to talk to Laura from Singular next week, like we said, but how many reports do you remember that they submitted? It was like thousands, right?
That's a great question. I don't know. I know their group has 6,000 people, and
I don't know
that 6,000 submitted, but I'm assuming a huge amount.
Okay.
Because they were all in, and it was kind of like a shorter time frame. It was more immediate, and it's one drug, so it's a bit different for us, right? It's a drug that we quit, but yeah, that's a good question for her. Okay, so check all that apply over the counter. I think mine was generic.
Okay.
And so expiration date, this should be interesting. Oh my, I'm gonna have to get in the sunlight. So this expires January 2016. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like they're still gonna hear about it. Okay. Lot number and NDC number.
Do you know there's?
Oh, sorry. It says NDC.
NDC? Okay, that's the lot. Oh, and that's different than, okay, that's the lot number?
So the lot number is different.
Okay.
And at the top, it says NDC with it. So I'm just going to type that in because I see that right now. NDC 07 30 dash, kind of long, sorry. 634 dash 37. And then the lot number is on the crimp next to expiration, or on the other side, right? So that's 0634. Sorry, I'm like looking in the sunlight.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's so small.
I'd have to have my glasses on for sure.
I should have mine.
My readers, my bifocals.
13010. 13010. Yes. Okay. So then strength. And if you don't know what these mean, they have the little question mark.
Mm-hmm.
You ingredient amount in each tablet or capsule, the concentration. So it tells you, for example, 800 milligrams per 160 milligrams or 20 milligrams, right? This is another way this is difficult because there's really no dose. But on the back, it says each gram contains 1 milligram of mometasone furoate, right? So what I'm going to say is, so
it wouldn't be like the 0.1%?
yes. Oops. Sorry. 0.1%.
Okay.
And then I'm going to write, so then in units, I think that means like grams. So it's in 45 grams. Okay. So quantity is like, is that a thing?
A dab. A dab will do, yeah.
Right. So quantity is like affected. Well, it's not going to let me. Affected areas as needed.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder if that would say on the actual prescription, you know, that the doctor wrote, if we had that. But it, usually for me, it said use as needed.
Right.
On affected area twice a day.
It will only let me type this many letters.
Okay.
And so it's really wanting tablet, pill.
Yes.
So
okay.
That's going to have to be blank.
Okay.
So this looks like other.
Or we could maybe.
None of these.
Okay. We're just skipping.
So
oh.
Other quantity unit. You say topical.
Yeah.
And you could say fingertip unit if you want. That doesn't really mean anything. I'll just say topical.
Okay.
Because it doesn't have a unit. And up here in strength, I'm going to say for the 0.1%, if they'll let me, 1 gram mometasone and 45 gram. Well, it's hard because they won't let you. I'll just say 45 gram tube. So it's good to see this, right?
Yes.
It's kind of like ours doesn't completely fit in. So frequency, as needed, right? That's all I was really told. If you were told different, write what you were told. If you were told twice a day, write what you were told.
Okay.
Okay, apply to surface, usually the skin. I think that sounds right. Okay. Dates of duration. So this is where it's good to have your pharmacy information so you know when it was prescribed, right? So date the person first started taking or using the product, right? And so I know that this was in 2012. Actually, this one was 2013. No, I'm wrong. It was 2012. It was December. Okay.
And so if we're just guessing on this, we're going to be guessing a little bit based on our.
Yes. Let's see. Is that what it's wanting? Or it wants an actual day?
Christmas Day. I got steroids.
Okay. Date person stopped, and that's, I know when I stopped. Why aren't you letting me do this? Oh well. 07/13.
And I was watching some of the links you had sent me to just while you're filling these dates in, and it did say that you can make reports to the FDA via phone call. You can actually mail a letter. I think we could miss things, but you know, to me, this seems the easiest way to report, but you can also call in. So if there's somebody that feels like you can't sit and type or you don't have the capacity to do that, you can actually call, and on the FDA's website, there's a phone number
Right.
that you could also lay in bed and call this in if you wanted to. I think the critical part is having all your stuff ready.
Yes. And so this is where it's tricky too, because date he first started, right? This is when this actual drug was prescribed, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he was using it since he was 6 months old, and it was this drug. And so there's part of me that's like, well, 2009,
Yeah.
2010, when he was like a new baby. But that's where it's hard. And so on this, it also says give best estimate of duration. So if you don't know the exact dates, you can give the best estimate.
Okay, good. That would help me. That's what I would have to do.
So do whatever you need to do, and then unit, it's not letting me. Let me see what it does if you type something in.
Oh, okay, good. Years.
And so maybe I'll do both, because he took this drug for 3 years.
Okay.
Right? Maybe that doesn't make sense because those dates don't match up, but oh well. So he was prescribed for eczema. Did the problem stop after the person reduced the dose or stopped taking or using the product? No. It got very much worse.
Much worse.
Did the problem return if the person started taking or using the product again? Yes, it did. Like, it was good briefly, but then it would get horrible again. So here's where add another product. So if you have like a bunch of products in a row, like me, you could just click this link and keep going. If not, then you press next. Expiration date.
I love it. We already have one member who's reporting right now.
Yay!
Yes.
Oh, it doesn't like that I used both fields.
Picky here. Okay.
Let's see. Expiration date, use the last day of the month. Okay, it doesn't like that I just did January 2016, so I have to do 31st. Okay.
We might be getting to this, I'm not sure, but one of the questions a few people are asking is there a place to upload pictures of the adverse effect?
There might be,
okay,
because they asked if you had a picture of the product, and so you could even sneak in your pictures there if there's not a place.
Yeah, we know our pictures speak 1,000 words, so
right.
Yeah, I can see why that would be maybe really important. Nina said last time she didn't think there was a place, but maybe it's different, so we'll see.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember there being a place, but when I reported last time, there wasn't a place for a picture of the medicine either. And so that's new to me since I last reported. Okay, so then it wanted me to say quantity, so I'm just saying 1 tube.
Okay.
I don't know what else to say on that.
Okay.
And then it's mad at me that I
chose both.
Yeah, that I chose both. So I'm going to take that away. Fine. Be mad. And then if you want to go back and edit, there's previous. So.
And it does say there, add another product?
Yes.
Would that be to go ahead and report multiple?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that's good.
Let's see. Enter duration for product 1. Must be numeric for product 1. What are you wanting?
I think you have to take out that years maybe, since we didn't do. Is that what it's saying?
Oh yeah, you're probably right.
Maybe.
It's so mad at me. Quantity must be numeric.
Quantity now. Oh, just 1.
1 then.
1.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Yes.
Now it's not mad at me. But yeah, just play with it.
Yes.
There's no right way to do this thing, because it's thinking we're taking like something that's metered and it's not. Right. Slather it on however you want. So person's initials, I'm doing my son. And he's a male, or you can answer however you want. You don't have to answer at all if you don't want to. I'm gonna say this happened when he was, it's like the whole time he was 4. The withdrawal. You still there, Molly?
I'm here, yes.
All right.
Yes.
I think
I'm watching and I'm
it's quiet. It's okay.
I'm having a I've just had a little emotional moment thinking of your 4-year-old.
Oh,
Just so, I mean, just the amount of products you just held up.
yeah, and that's just the beginning.
Yeah,
Well, I
like
mean,
it's not hard for me to picture that for myself. I'm like, oh yeah, no, thousands of tubes it feels like. But I mean, we're talking about a 4-year-old. This is why this
yeah,
work is so important, everybody. Like this is why right here. It's like, ah,
yes. Okay, so I'm looking back at
how
an
much he
older report
weighed.
to see how much he weighed when he was 4. I'm gonna guess he was 50 pounds. I don't know. I'm gonna look at this and try to do it right.
Yeah, I feel like these are the details too that if we don't have specific, let's report anyways. Like do your best to get it in there.
Because it doesn't matter at the end of the day totally.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So one of the things is the cancer center we took him to because his lymph
Wow.
nodes were so swollen. I'm like, oh, holy cow. All
Yeah,
right.
so there could be an element of emotional. I was saying here on our
46 pounds.
there you go. Good job,
Oh,
Mom.
so close. Okay.
We should
Okay.
have a reporting party so we can emotionally support each other while we do this because there can be a little bit of an emotional
It is.
charge
It is.
going back, looking through records and yeah.
Oh,
But
that binder of mine, I'm like, I can't even, like, I'm gonna have to like, yeah, have some time away from this topic later today because it is
yes.
hard. It is.
Yes.
Okay, let's see. Blah blah blah. Demographic. List known medical conditions.
Mm-hmm.
So like for him, it would be like tree nut allergies. Um, and this is hard, but this is answering for him at the time. He had a
Mm-hmm.
heart murmur, which he doesn't know.
Hmm.
And like his swollen lymph nodes, lymphadenopathy. um, I don't know if I spelled that right, but and he also did have a high blood pressure. Then he was a tiny little guy.
Yeah. I really wish there was a way we could give gold stickers out to everyone who reports. We do have time to do it. It's just one of those things, for our community to remember that it's not something we can just count on somebody else to do.
Right.
We really need to take this one as a personal charge to feel like we're making a big difference in ITSAN's mission.
So you just go through any other important information about the person,
Yeah.
you can tell the whole story, current prescription medications, like he has an EpiPen and I don't know, epinephrine auto injector. They don't like that either, but it will. And Benadryl as needed
Mm-hmm.
for anaphylaxis. Like, oh no. I hope that's right. Unless it has another S.
One of the questions Robbie said that came up in the UK was, do you think this reaction occurred as a result of a mistake made in the prescription dosing, dispensing, or administration? Yes.
Okay, so yeah, that's a great question.
Yes.
I wish we had to answer.
Yes.
Because yeah, the dose, there's not one. Right? And
Right.
that's something that I've tried to really hit hard in every conversation I've had about this. Is like, how do you know if you're overdosing? How do you know if you're underdosing? I come out from the pediatric population, and we had to have, like, for age and weight, we had to have a max dose daily,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or 24-hour period. This is your max dose. And it's ridiculous to me that this drug has no dose at all, but no maximum dose. So
Yep.
okay, all over the counter medicines, mineral supplements. So that's where you put in, everything. At the time, I think he was on a vitamin
Mm-hmm.
and a probiotic, and then a billion other things that I tried. That's like, I don't even know all this. So I'm just going to leave that at that for now.
Yeah.
And I may go back and flush this out. I'm just kind of like for reporting. You do reporter name, preferred address, but this is not required. It doesn't have a red
Okay.
star. But if you want them to be able to contact you and ask more questions, I would fill that out. Did you report this problem to the company that makes the product? And so if you haven't yet, then you put no, but whatever.
Yeah.
Then go do it.
Yes.
Good. If you do not want your identity disclosed to the manufacturer, place an X in this box. So that's up to you.
Okay.
And then let me see if it'll let me do next without filling that stuff in.
It looks like next is review and submit.
Yeah, I think that might be done.
Yeah.
So yeah, so then it tells you, it shows you everything in a row that you filled out, and then you can edit it if you want to flesh it out. And then that's it. And at the end, you're just submit. So that's it. And like what I have done in the past is I would screenshot this whole thing. And I think up here, it lets you, I'm curious, I haven't done any of this. Up here, share. I wonder how much we can do that. Or you can print it and email it, whatever. So yeah, let me hit share. See what happens.
That's so interesting. So you could pick a group. So okay.
Yeah, we could just, so if I want to say share in a group.
Yep.
And then I'm like, ITSAN.
And there we are. Do it.
Report.
President's orders. Do it.
To the FDA.
Awesome.
In the US.
So basically Nina and I are going to coordinate a reporting watch party. We're going to give everybody an hour a week to get your homework done, which means gather your things, which this looks pretty easy actually, especially since you had it with you already. But if we can just contact our pharmacies and I'm going to
stop sharing and come back to you.
Okay.
There we are. But you got the general idea. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah. We could all do our homework literally in, I just got the notification that you posted it, so it's already there. So Christine, I know you just asked, where do you find it? And Kathryn just posted it onto the actual form. So you can click on that and get started yourself. I think maybe we'll do something like that. Like, let's all take a week to contact our pharmacies or doctor's offices. Hopefully they're not overwhelmed right now. And get the records, at least one record of one prescription. And then we can host an ITSAN reporting party and just go live while we're all doing it ourselves. So if any questions pop up along the way, we can help each other out. But we've only been talking for about 45 minutes. And so you've already reported on one, and it looked like right in there was a button that you could just keep adding different products and just filling in that one section.
It doesn't take terribly long. And I think those open box sections say everything. Like, fill it out, because they give you, 4,000 characters is decent, and they give you several boxes. So I know the first time I reported, I put a lot of my story in just like a Google document or Word document. Then I would cut and paste some of it in one box and some in the other box. I'm like, I was a lot closer to the situation then. So I just wanted people to hear it, and I think they should hear it. So I think the important part on reporting, yes, we want the lot number and blah, 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 but it's your story. They need to hear what is actually happening to you. And I think that's the most important part.
Yes. And the most profound part. So we didn't see anywhere where it said we could enter or add pictures. So we're going to have to
just on the bottle.
Just words. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you could sneak it in there if you have a picture of the bottle. And it did say, if I can go back, let me see if I could, I'm going to share again and see if I can go back. I don't think I closed it. Okay. So I'm going to go to the very first section where it says, do you have a picture of the product? And say yes. And you upload relevant files, and you can select files. And so if you want, stick it in there.
Stick your pictures in there. Okay, she gave us the liberty to do it. We'll try it.
Here's a picture of the bottle, and here's what it did to me,
Yes.
But
can you scroll on there really quick? Nina was just asking about, can we add more products? And I know we saw it there. There was a plus button where you could. So maybe under product.
It might have been on the product part. But yes, I did see that. Okay, I'm going to say, I got to uncheck this or it's mad at me. Okay. I'm going to save that.
Yeah, there was a spot. So I know we can add more if we, and then I think what it does is it would generate, it's just like all your pertinent information stays the same, but then you can just keep adding more products that's under your same. So product 1.
Product, and then it says product 1, and then at the bottom, it has add another product.
Okay, perfect. That's it. Okay.
Starts over on all of it. So you can continue to add. So
awesome.
So that's how you do that. Or if you want to go in and make multiple reports, if that makes you feel better. I don't know. It's just up to you, but it's easier when you're already in there.
Yeah, I think so.
Just add it,
Yep. And hopefully if we can get either have the products there or get our pharmacy reports, then hopefully we'll just kind of have a list and maybe we could just go through and it'd be super easy to do. So I think this is like so exciting, such a huge idea for us to support our own mission and cause. And it literally took us less than an hour. And once we get going, I think it would even take faster. So
yeah,
I challenge everybody in ITSAN to do your homework, get your reports, get your products gathered. Even with that, it wasn't a whole lot of information. I think if we have to guess at when I used it or how much I used of it, that's fine. It's more about getting the report to the FDA so they start to go, wow, there's something funny about this topical steroid business.
Yeah.
Right. And I know, Kathryn, that more of the work that you're specifically doing with some of our other skin allergy and asthma network and some different skin organizations that you're talking to are already focused on steroid damage and adverse effects. So this is a way that we can kind of raise topical steroids while other organizations might be raising inhalers or oral steroids or things like that. So do you think that helps us kind of give more weight to this to the FDA also?
Oh, definitely. And just to kind of like update while I'm here and while we have people listening, we have been partnering a lot with AAN. So it's Allergy Asthma Network. And it's so awesome, but they have the steroid stewardship campaign, right? And so for their demographic, they were seeing that doctors were prescribing oral steroids kind of like as a go-to for controlling asthma. And they were noticing that that it's cumulative and that if you have so many uses in a lifetime, and I think their number was 20, it could be 30, but I think it was 20 uses in a lifetime, you're more likely to have, a litany of side effects from, cataracts to osteoporosis, to, all of these different things. And so they had this campaign about that. And when we had partnered with them for the PFDD meeting in September, where we were informing the FDA about gaps in treatment and new treatments that we need because these are not effective or actually harming. When we were partnering with them, we kind of got to know that our missions could go together. And so last year they rolled out the oral steroid awareness campaign. This year they're wanting to branch out to all steroid exposure, whether it's oral or topical steroids or inhaled or eye drops or all of it. And they are helping us develop a survey that will illustrate just steroid exposure, because I think this is something totally misunderstood and underestimated in the medical world, how much we're actually getting from all sides, from different practitioners, over the counter, And so anyway, I'm just like really excited about the work that they're doing and that they're wanting to partner with us here. And so if we can kind of get this in everyone's face that like this is a big deal and report it like everywhere we can, it backs up all of that, right?
Yes,
And it
yes.
just seeing the numbers of people reporting on this, and when
Yeah.
we come to them and we show them, and here's this survey, and you know, even the PFDD, the More Than Skin Deep, we have that on our Facebook. We have posted about that in the past. Links to that report informed a lot about how this drug is harming people, and how 99% of people with eczema use topical steroids, and 25% are showing to have this adverse effect. And so that is on the record in this survey. So we're really trying hard to like do what we can to bring your voice, make it public, bring it to the table, and this is something you can do. And I think it's awesome. It can't be underestimated, and I really appreciate anybody taking the time to do this. I know it's really hard. It's hard to get the information. It's hard to revisit that time frame. That part it's really hard, but the time commitment to do it, it's not very hard, and it's not a perfect way to do it. Do your best. The point is just to do it. So.
And remember that you know, for everyone, ITSAN will help you along the way, because that's why we're here. So if you have questions, just message any of us, and we'll help you out. And even in our, you know, just in our Facebook comments now, the advocacy is there. Robbie Ferguson already did this in the UK, and on his, it even had a spot where you could have your report forwarded to your GP, your general practitioner. So I didn't see that in ours, but yeah, you know, and yeah, we are an international network. So I think that collectively, and also a part of a global skin organization, I know that some of the board members have attended. So, you know, I like to imagine the ideal outcome, which is these, you know, people in charge, whether it's pharmaceuticals, whether it's these, you know, the FDA or dermatologists, you know, groups getting together, and they start to go, wow, look at all these reports that came out over here, and it's for allergies and asthma and and eczema. That's the noise we're trying to make, because we need change for sure. So thank you so much, President Kathryn. I know you've had a full day on all of our behalf. And so you can ask questions. Anybody who has questions, ask them. I think we might coordinate a little reporting party, because this is good stuff. And every single one of us, if you're in this group and you're going through topical steroid withdrawal syndrome, you have the right. It doesn't matter if you use steroids for 6 months or 30 years. You have the right to make this report known. Not even out of selfish reasons, but because people need to know what they're stepping into. This is preventable, and people need to know what they're stepping into when they choose to put creams on their body, especially when they're babies. Oh, yes, when they're little kids. You know, we have the right as consumers to know what the potential is of this drug, of topical steroids, and also we have the right to be heard and to be seen. So don't get Molly going on her activism, right? We'll be advocates, we'll be empowered. So I could not be more thankful and grateful to have you present this for our community, and to know, I get to see it all the time, you guys, that there's so much work going on behind the scenes. And so please don't ever hesitate to reach out with a good idea, with a thought, with something that you're doing in your own community. So many people are feeling like we need to be heard and need to be seen. So like we say all the time, share your story, share your strategies. And if you've got something that you think could help the whole community, just like, you know, obviously Kathryn's doing this as work, but all of us have so many ideas, and there's thousands of us in this page. So if you've got something that you think could serve our entire community, please reach out and share it. That's how we're going to get more awareness around this. So advocate, and let's help ITSAN move this whole process forward. So thank you, Kathryn, so much. Yes, and I look forward to the next time. We'll be we can turn all these events into parties, right? We can have a good old time. So wherever you are today, we do wish you well. We wish you as speedy and comfortable healing as possible, and we always send our very best to everyone. So take care, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Right, bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Please note our ITSAN disclaimer. All content provided by ITSAN via social media, webinar, podcast, email, or any other mode of communication is offered as a means to serve the mission of topical steroid withdrawal syndrome awareness and to provide support to community members. Viewers are advised to seek the advice and support of medical professionals and should not adhere to the topics presented as alternatives to personal health care. Participants and expert guests represent their own words, content, practices, and suggestions and are not liable for viewer interpretation, nor do they specifically represent the views of ITSAN. Content is provided at viewer discretion and with personal responsibility. Thank you for your continued support and partnership as ITSAN works to fulfill the mission of greater awareness of topical steroid withdrawal syndrome and ultimately prevention. Go to itsan.org, ITSAN.org for more resources, information, community connection, and to contribute a donation to our cause.